Hi guys, welcome to the Book of Hearts. In today's video, we're going to be choosing 25 books that I want to read in 2025. Don't get me wrong, I want to read more than 25 books in 2025, but here are just a few that are on the top of my TBR. Let's get into it. So the 25 books that I've chosen aren't in any particular order. I've just wrote a list of 25 books that A, are releasing this year or are already on my bookshelf that I want to read. I think more are already released because, let's be honest, I have quite a few books on my bookshelf that I've not read yet, but let's get into it. Book number 1 is The Au Pair Affair by Tessa Bailey. And as you can see, I'm already actually reading this and I'm over halfway into it. So by the time I'm posting this video, I might have already finished it. But I was so excited for this release. The first one, Fangirl Down in the series, was so good. So this was highly anticipated last year, but I didn't actually get around to reading it. So it's the first book I'm reading of 2025. And so far, it's amazing. The second book on the list is A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. This book is coming out on the 22nd of April, but I've already pre-ordered it. As soon as I saw it on, I think it was it Emily Henry's Instagram or was it Waterstones first? I can't remember. Anyway, Waterstones are doing a stunning special edition hardback with a sprayed edge. This is already pre-ordered. It better be on my doorstep on release day, if not the day after. I'm hoping anyway. Book number 3 is also not out yet. It is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I read Powerless and Reckless and I'm obsessed. So of course this special edition from Waterstones was pre-ordered straight away. It's out on the 8th of April and I want to read this as soon as I have it in my hands. I need to know what happens to Kai and Payden. I'm obsessed with this series and it's a trilogy, so this will be the last book I think, but I think there's going to be another novella, but it's going to be released after Fearless, so I need to stay tuned for that one. Now book number 4 is a bit different. This is one that I'll need to read while I'm in the mood for an emotional read, a little cry, because it is Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. Binding 13, that was heavy, that was emotional. This I heard is gonna make me cry, is gonna break my heart, but look how thick it is. That's intimidating to start with. But Johnny and Shannon's story isn't finished yet and I need to know what happens. Book number 5 I already have, and it is Daydream by Hannah Grace. I loved Icebreaker, I love Wildfire. I'm really excited for this one. I'm hoping it lives up to, I've seen a lot of hype, but I am very excited to read it. I love a bit of Hannah Grace's spice, and I think the main character, I don't know her name, Hayley I think her name is. It looks like she's a book girly, so I'm gonna love that. Book number 6 hasn't been released yet, but it is Dream Girl Drama by Tessa Bailey. It's the third one in a Big Shot series. It comes after The Au Pair Affair, and the characters have already been introduced in The Au Pair Affair, and I'm excited for it already. This comes out on the 4th of February, so I don't actually have long to wait for this one. And I'm hoping there's going to be a nice exclusive to match my Fangirl Down and Au Pair Affair. I'll have to ask Sean sweetly for that one maybe. Book number 7 is Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. I read Wild Love last year and it was a 5-star read for me, so I'm hoping returning to the Rose Hill series will just be as good. There is the 3rd book coming out, Wild Side. I've just remembered about that one. Oh, I want that one as well now. Book number 8 is for everyone that follows me on TikTok, because the amount of comments I get asked during a TikTok live, have you read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder? And I always say I have it, but I haven't read it yet. So this is the year that I'm gonna read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I've heard so many good things about it, but I don't know if it's because it's YA that I'm put off about it. I don't think there's any romance in it, so it's going to be different, but hopefully a good difference. I've heard a lot of good things about it, so that should be good. Sticking with the YA theme, book number 9 is Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Again, I hear so many good things about Lynn Painter. I have 4 of her books and I've not read a single one yet. So 2025 is the year I read one of Lynn Painter's books, maybe more, depending on how good this is. I got this one from America, so it is a floppy cover. So that's going to be actually really nice to read. And again, I've heard so many good things about this book. So hopefully it's as good as everyone's hyped it up to be. Number 10 is another new release and I'm really, really excited for this one. My favourite series that I read in 2024, and it could be my all-time favourite series, I'm not too sure, is the Windy City series by Liz Tomford. And book 5 is being released on the 20th of May and I'm so excited. It is Rewind It Back by Liz Tomford. The cover hasn't been revealed yet, but I'm predicting a green colour. I'm predicting green. I don't know why. I'm just predicting green. This is going to be Rio's story. He's appeared in, I think, all of the books so far, and he's single as hell. So I'm hoping his book will give him his time to shine, and I'm really, really excited to hear Rio's story. Book number 11 is Ali Hazelwood's new book, Deep End. This was originally going to be called Wet, like W-H-E-T. I don't know how I feel about that, but I saw it all over Instagram. Everyone was like, justice for Wet, because I think the publishers made her change the name of it. I feel like I prefer Deep End, not gonna lie. Wet just, it goes through me, I don't know. This is also out on the 4th of Feb, so not long for this one. This is a college romance. He's a diver, she's a swimmer. I think it's forbidden romance as well. And again, Ali Hazelwood does really good spice. Book number 12, I've chosen The 7-Year Slip. In 2024, I read a novel love story, and that was my first ever Ashley Poston book. And it was my favourite standalone that I read last year. So I really want to read more of her work. And I have this stunning edition of The 7-Year Slip. This was from Fairy Loot. And I kind of don't want to read this version because I don't want to ruin it. But I've heard really good things about The 7-Year Slip. I also have The Dead Romantics. And I think she's bringing out another book this year as well. I need to look into that one. But for now, The 7-Year Slip, I really, really want to read. Book number 13 is an author that I've heard so many good things about, but I've still not read, and that is Taylor Jenkins Reid's. I've chosen The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but I do have a few other of her books. I've heard so much hype about this that, again, I feel like when something is hyped up so much, I get scared to read it because I get scared that I'm going to be disappointed. But let me know if you've read this one, because I've heard really good things about Taylor Jenkins Reid, and one of my friends said, I'm surprised you've not read any of her books yet because they just scream you. So I'm hoping that's a compliment. We shall see anyway, because I definitely want to read at least one of her books this year. Book number 14 is another author that I've not read any books yet, and that is Abby Jimenez. I have, I think, 3 of her books. I accidentally bought Just for the Summer first, and then I found out that it was part of a series. So I believe Part of Your World is a first in the series. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've heard so many good things about her work that I'm very excited to read this one. Number 15, I want to include some dark romance this year. I read Haunting and Hunting Adeline last year, which was very dark. So we're going for some Penelope Douglas this year. Punk 57 has been on my TBR, I want to say since 2023, I think. I've heard good stuff about it. I also really want Birthday Girl, but I've not actually got that book yet. So I thought I'd choose Punk 57 because I have this book and I've not read it yet. But Penelope Douglas is a very saucy author, so I'm excited for this one. Book number 16 is The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. I read The Deal last year and it was a 5-star read for me. I want to get back in this series. I know each book is based on a different player. I love an ice hockey romance, and especially Elle Kennedy, she does it great. Book number 17 is another chunky one. It's Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. I adored Love Redesigned last year. If it's anywhere near as good, then I'm going to be loving this book. It is very thick though. And there's another one coming out in this series. I've just remembered. Oh, I'm remembering all these books. It's not good. Book number 18 is also by Lauren Asher and it's Redeemed. This is the 4th book in the Dirty Air series, which will then mean I've completed the Dirty Air series, which is one of my goals this year. I want to sort of wrap up a lot of the series that I've been reading. I've loved this F1 series, and this story is Chloe and Santiago. Santiago has been in it since book 1, I believe. I'm really excited to read more of his story. Book number 19 isn't romance. It's a bit of a thriller. I read The Housemaid last year. Oh my god, I was obsessed, couldn't put it down. And some people have said The Housemaid's Secret is even better than the first one. I'm holding you all to that. If you've told me that, I'm really hoping this doesn't disappoint me, because I loved The Housemaid. Number 20 is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I've read a few of her books so far. I've read The Unhoneymooners, Love and Other Words. I really like this author. So The Paradise Problem, I'm excited for. I'll probably save this one hopefully for summer. It's giving summer vibes. So hopefully I'll read this one next to a pool with a cocktail in my hand. That's the vibes that it's giving. Book 21 I've chosen When I Need a Cry, because I'm very much a mood reader. So depending on what I've previously read, depends on what vibe I want for the next book. So Say You Swear by Megan Brandy is on my 2025 list, because I've heard a lot of things about this book. One that is gonna make me cry. And don't get me wrong, I love a book that can make me cry, so I'm hoping this one doesn't disappoint me. And that is A Court of Mist and Fury. I loved the first one, A Court of Thorn and Roses, and you guys have told me this just gets better. It is a thick one, so I'm hoping I enjoy it as much as the first one. Book 23 is a new series that I got in 2024, and it is the Never After series, I think it's called, and the first one is Hooked by Emily McIntyre. This is a dark romance Disney retellings, like from the villain's point of view, and I think it's the villain gets the girl in this series, so I'm very excited for this one. I know a few people that have read it and have highly recommended it to me. Book 24, I need some more cowboy romance in my life, so Swift and Saddled. I really want to read this one. Done and dusted, I loved it. It was short, it was hot, it was sexy, and I'm hoping that this one is just as good. I have the next one, and there's a 4th one coming out in 2025, so we might continue the whole series, we shall see. Last, but certainly not least, book 25 is Magnolia Parks. My brother got me this stunning copy of Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I don't want to read this copy because I don't want to ruin it. I've heard Magnolia Parks is very much Gossip Girl vibes, and I adore Gossip Girl, so I really want to get into Magnolia Parks this year. So I'm hoping it lives up to the hype. I just might get a normal edition to read so I don't ruin my beautiful cloth-bound edition. So that is the 25 books I want to read in 2025. Let's be honest, I probably won't stick to that list. It might be fun to actually do a video in December, seeing which books I've read from this list. That could be fun to recap later this year. Yeah, I'm going to be buying a lot more books this year. I just know it. And I can never stick to a strict TBR. So we'll see. Hopefully some of these books I do read. I do want to try new authors this year. I want to wrap up some series that I've been reading for the past years. Here's to a year of amazing reading, all the romance and spicy books. But yeah, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this full video. Please drop a like and a comment of what books you are planning to read in 2025. And if you highly recommend anything off this list, persuade me, people. I'm easily persuaded. But yeah, thank you everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.